Guys, I'm super excited to bring this brand new hypertrophy program to you. I made Kong, Savage Strength in 12 weeks, specifically for Boost Camp. So in less than 2 weeks, right after Christmas, a couple days before New Year's, you can download Boost Camp for free, and this will be a free program on that app. So that means you can punch your numbers in, you can follow workout to workout, week to week, all of the changes in exercises, the changes in sets and reps, the changes from block to block, it's all taken care of for you. So it's a really convenient, real cool way to track your progress. Also, there are a ton of other programs. I have Full Styrker on there, which has been getting really good reviews. Bull Mastiff can be ran on there for free. So I wanted to put a free program up there that was specifically size oriented, especially since, you know, I've been going off on the rants about people not doing their hypertrophy work or taking it seriously enough. So Kong is broken into 3 blocks. You know me, I like to break things into waves, blocks, 4-week chunks, so I can focus on one thing, one trait long enough to get good at it, and then take that and pay it forward. It's essentially phase potentiation. It's really important for competitive prep, and if you get a handle on how to do that and how to organize your training and follow that through, you will be an absolute monster when it comes to peaking for meets. But we can also take it and leverage it for other things like size, like mass. Real quick, guys, we got real big things coming up on this channel. We're doing daily posts. You want to make sure you don't miss anything. So if you found any of this helpful, entertaining, informative, be assured that there's a lot more coming down the pike. So consider hitting that subscribe button. The only reason I can do this full time is because of your support, and it is immensely appreciated. So the 3 blocks are separated by exercise selection, exercise order, and set and rep progression. Those all change deliberately, and there's a theme. It's not as complex as it looks. Week 1 is going to emphasize weak points. So we're on a basic bodybuilding split. Most body parts get hit twice a week, and the order gets jumbled a bit. For instance, triceps come before delts. A lot of people save their limb work, triceps, biceps, quads, whatever, for after all of their heavy stuff, and that's a good way to handle your training normally. But when you have a weak point that you need to bring up, you can get a lot of mileage out of putting it to the front of the line, handling it first, even if it comes to the detriment of the things you do afterwards. But we're running through these twice a week, so even if you have like a fatigued delt workout, you're going to be a little more fresh on your next delt work. So we're still covering all our bases there. So basic 5-day bodybuilding split, it's going to be refreshing if you've just been doing compound movements on repeat for the last 5 or 10 years, to actually go in, have a variety of movements, have it not necessarily be tethered to this one specific lift you have to drill into the ground for the millionth time, but to actually do and enjoy some other exercises in different capacities. This is a volumizing block, and I've written about volumizing before, huge fan of it. Start with a baseline of work, add sets over time. The first workout is just a couple sets of 15 on everything. It looks like nothing, but 98% of you are going to do that first week of work, and you're going to find that you're absolutely crippled in the following days. The soreness is going to be intense. In the workout, you might get nauseous on some of the lower body stuff. Takes a little while to adapt to. So I ease you in with just a couple sets, and then as you acclimate to that rep range, you increase load so that by week 4, you are handling more volume than you potentially could have if you started week 1 with the highest volume of workout. We condition you to it first, and then we start to ramp up the volume, and it works out really good. So by the time you're at the end of this, you're doing multiple sets of 10 or more on all of these exercises, a lot of volume. Then, before you turn into a hyper-specialized bodybuilder who just chases the pump on isolation movements, we move you into block 2, because remember, we are focused on compound movements. So this was a primer. We go into block 2, similar split, 5-day per week, similar frequency across the board. Some of the exercises are going to be the same. Difference is that we're going to go back to prioritizing the main lift. So now we're going to get the benefit of handling that load and being able to put out that effort on those movements when we're fresh. So assuming you did some work on things like your triceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, things that tend to fall behind with a lot of lifters, in block 2, you should go into these movements feeling a little bit stronger, feeling like you got an extra gear that you didn't really have before. Now, the movements we're selecting are underloaded variations. Those are variations of the main movements that you have to use less weight with because you are in some type of mechanical disadvantage. So a close grip bench is a good example, stiff leg deadlift, strict overhead press. Those are all movements where load is high by virtue of them being a compound movement, but it's not going to be necessarily as high as your competition variation. So they're good developmental movements. disadvantaging joints. So close grip bench is going to hit your triceps, stiff leg dead is going to hit your hams. High bar squat, you got more range of motion, more depth, a lot more quad development. So more range of motion, it coincides really nicely with hypertrophy type work. And that's why I like to do these earlier on in blocks when I'm peaking for a meet. But we're not necessarily peaking for strength here. Strength is important, but we're not trying to finish this with a demonstration of strength in some competitive movement. So we moved it a little further down the line. This is to prime us for block 3, which is going to use overloaded variations. So overhead goes to push press, stiff leg deadlift goes to an elevated deadlift, narrow squat goes to a wide squat. And this is going to, again, prioritize weight a little bit more over the fatigue and the volume that comes with this type of programming. So on the underloaded variations, we're running a pyramid. I really like pyramids as a way to mesh together size and strength oriented work. Pyramids are extremely valuable for getting stronger. The thing is, you have to detach yourself from what your training max is, for what you think your levels of strength are. Because if you get attached to that, you're going to recognize that by the time you get through the 12, 10, 8, by the time you get to the heavy set at the end, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be on suicide watch because you aren't going to handle as much weight on that heaviest set as you would if you were fresh and you put it first. But again, strength is not our primary priority here. What this does is it adds something that exposes you to weight, keeps your nervous system alive, maintains, if not outright improves strength-specific qualities, but prioritizes the volume, prioritizes the endurance work. And that is a nasty muscle building combination, which is why pyramids are so popular. Good way to get a variety of reps, stimulate a lot of different fibers, train a lot of different qualities at once. And ideally there should be some synergy that goes on there. So we're going from very light, a lot of isolation, volumizing, to some underloaded variations, a lot more weight, actually working up to something heavy. And then in block 3, now we're in the overloaded variations. Now we're prioritizing that heavy weight. We're doing that first, but we're still getting a lot of volume in. Again, this isn't exactly what a peak would look like at the end of a workout. It's almost like everything got shifted down. Like if you were to actually peak for a meet, there'd be a couple more blocks that follow this pattern. But we're doing multiple sets of 8. We're doing a back off set of 15 or more reps. So the high rep stuff, that stays alive throughout this entire program. And that's part of what is going to make this such a devastating builder, because I know most of you, when you are hitting your top sets, when you are in your strength specific cycles, you're not dropping back doing sets of 15. You're certainly not dropping back doing multiple sets of 8 or 10. So all of this has the same theme: compound movements, a lot of sets, a lot of reps, variety of reps. And the logical progression of lighter to heavier movements just works out very nicely. By the time you're at the end of block 3, you're gonna be handling quite a bit of load, and you should look like a different animal. You should look like you're about to scale the Empire State Building. So that's all I got for Kong. There's certainly enough here for you to build a program off of if you are so inclined to. But if you do want this program, you got about 2 weeks, and it's gonna be live on the Boost Camp app. When it's live, I'm going to do a more thorough breakdown, going down each exercise and going down what the actual pattern of progression is within each block. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.